The Detroit Lions had a pretty successful 2024 NFL draft, getting all the players that Brad Holmes desired to go get. Now, here's where it gets interesting. In the first round, Brad Holmes was trying to make calls to trade up in the teens to get Terrion as he continued to fall. And then he ended up trading 5 spots to 24 to select the cornerback out of Alabama. But what if he wasn't there? If he was the first plan or plan A, who's plan B? What if I told you it was Darius Robinson, edge out of Missouri? As reported by SI's Albert Breer in his article discussing basically how much the Lions love Nick Saban coach players and love Alabama players. He talked about in the article that if Terrion wasn't there, Darius Robinson would have been the selection. And I think Albert Breer is a pretty reputable guy. Again, Brad Holmes keeps a lot of things in-house. I don't know how true this is, but I would tend to believe it's true. Albert Breer is pretty accurate with his reporting. It makes a lot of sense. And I think it also proves the argument that I've been trying to make against those who say, why didn't he take an edge? Why didn't you take an edge much earlier than you took even a defensive tackle? But they waited till the 6th round to take him. Mekhi Wingo, that is, out of LSU. And my argument was always the edge depth in the class wasn't impressive. And this is something that we talked about at length, just doing the mock drafts we do here on the channel or discussing different draft prospects. We always came back to the same point. It's like, dang, if you don't get an edge in the first 2 rounds, and 2 is even being friendly, he's not taking one at all. That's how I felt, at least. I looked at Latu, Jared Verse, obviously Dallas Turner. I didn't know he'd fall that much. But once you get past that, Chop Robinson, Darius Robinson is definitely a guy that I was okay with. But then you get to Adisa Isaac. It wasn't this incredibly deep edge class. So hearing this report tells me that Brad understood they do need an edge. He understands that. And he understood it on day one. But it just so happens that with his ideology, BPA, Terrion Arnold was sitting right there staring right at him. So you go up and get him. That's plan A. But plan B, he was okay with taking an edge. Like, Brad Holmes understands that they need pass rush help. The guys that they signed and guys that are coming back this year, I mean, even James Houston coming back from injury, he's more of a, he's a pass rush specialist. So it's not even to slight what he can do, but more of a 3-down lineman. I mean, you got Marcus Davenport, which if he could stay healthy, I do think he could be impactful. This confirms that Brad Holmes understands it just as much as Lions fans do. The board didn't fall that way. And when Terrion Arnold's there, you got to take him. When Ennis Rakestraw's there in the 2nd, and he's a first-round projected corner, and Brad Holmes has him as his number 2 corner overall, you got to take him. And then you don't pick to the 4th round, which at that point, edge is out of the question to me, and I think to Brad Holmes as well, because then you're too deep, and I don't think the talented edge, you can argue BPA at the positions they took. So I love that Brad Holmes did what he did. I think Terrion Arnold is a slam dunk pick. But to hear this report and to understand that Brad wasn't afraid to take Darius Robinson tells me that, again, it's not like Brad went into the draft thinking, we got to take back-to-back corners. He went into the draft thinking to himself, we got to take the best players, which that's what he does. And Terrion Arnold was the best player. But what if Darius Robinson was the pick? I think a lot of Lions fans would be okay with it, to be honest with you. I think I would be okay with it. It's not a pick that I think wows you, but you know what he is about. Like, he checks every box. Obviously, he's a local guy from Michigan. But they could use someone like Darius Robinson, certainly. And that's why I think the need for an edge is still there. That's probably the Lions' biggest need, a bookend next to Aiden Hutchinson on the other side. But that's something they can address at the trade deadline as well. Don't forget, there's still a trade deadline in the NFL season. And once the season starts and you start to kind of realize, okay, is Davenport the answer? Is James Houston someone we can rely on? Can he repeat what he did his rookie year? I think Brad Holmes will be more aggressive this trade deadline this season, given where the Lions are as a team. They're in that top tier. They're officially Super Bowl or bust tier. That's where they're at. I think a lot of Lions fans will agree with that. So with that comes pressure, and with pressure makes diamonds. But it also forces your hand because you understand what's at stake. They understand that, hey, if we fall short, we're going to hear about it. And we want to have success. We want to win a Super Bowl. So we'll do whatever it takes. And I think Brad has that line of thinking as well. So for all the people that are concerned about they didn't address edge, here you go. They were going to. But Terrion Arnold fell right into their hands, and they had to go get him, which I don't think anybody would disagree was a bad move. I just love this report because it brings more clarity to kind of where Brad Holmes his mindset was. Like it wasn't like he woke up and said, I'm going to take back-to-back corners. Just how the board fell. And I think we can all agree we're happy with how it fell. Certainly. But what do you guys think? If Darius Robinson was the pick, would we still be this excited? I think so. Obviously, Terrion raises it because of how good of a player he is, but Darius Robinson's a good player too. I don't know if he has the ceiling at his respective position as Terrion does. I think Terrion has all pro potential and could be one of the best corners. Darius Robinson, I think, would have been a solid bookend edge. I don't know about all pro though. So, I'm with Brad Holmes on this. Terrion Arnold, hell of a pick. I love it. But what do you guys think of that possibility? That Darius Robinson was almost a Detroit Lion. Do you believe the report? Who else do you believe would have been the pick if it wasn't Terrion Arnold? Because I actually agree. I think it would have been Darius Robinson. Comment down below. Love to read them. Love to engage in all of it. Don't forget to subscribe because we hit 6.2 thousand subscribers. We're continuing to climb, and we're on our way to 10,000. Thanks to you guys. So thank you for that. As well, turn on our notification bell because you get alerted every time we post. And tune into our live show, 8 to 10 p.m. weekdays. Until next time, I'll catch you guys.